Welcome. How much should I feed my baby? One of the challenges of bottle feeding is that the parent can monitor their baby's intake. This leads to many parents believing that they should guide or control how much milk their baby takes. Babies are born with an inbuilt appetite mechanism, which enables them to queue for food when they are hungry and to stop eating when full. However, this mechanism has evolved to work hand in hand with breastfeeding, which is more in the baby's control. If we use baby-led bottle feeding techniques, then we can work with our babies to ensure they are taking in the correct volumes of milk for adequate growth. With bottle-fed babies, there is a greater risk of overfeeding than underfeeding. And so we want to be alert to signs from our babies that they are full and would like to end the feed. It can be useful, however, to have guidelines of the volumes that an average bottle-fed baby may eat at various ages. In their first week of life, babies should be fed 8 to 12 times per day. Around 10 to 15 meals are required on day 1 per feed, steadily increasing to 60 meals per feed by day 7. This is because a newborn stomach doesn't have much stretch in the first 24 hours, and they can feel very uncomfortable with large volumes on this day. But bear in mind, these averages can vary by 20% either way. In weeks 2 to 8, the volume of milk that your baby needs depends on their size. As a general rule, we advise giving babies 150 ml of milk for every kilo of body weight for every 24 hours. This gives you the following equation for feed volume. 150 ml times body weight in kilos divided by the number of feeds per day equals the feed volume in mils. So, for example, if you have a 4 kilo baby, they will need 600 ml of milk every day. If they are having 8 feeds a day, this will give you an average feed volume of 75 ml. You take the 600 ml and divide it by 8 feeds. Once your baby is 2 months old, they will have reached maximum milk needs. From this point onwards, they will drink a relatively stable amount of milk per day until milk begins to be displaced by solid foods. This volume is typically in the range of 750 ml to a litre of milk per 24 hours, again allowing for that 20% variance either way. Some families prefer for their babies to take this milk in larger bottles less frequently. However, studies have shown that responsive bottle feeding, allowing the baby to direct the volume and frequency of feeds, is protective against obesity in later life. If we assume breastfeeding patterns to be the biological norm, we can anticipate that responsively fed babies would typically feed 6 to 8 times in 24 hours, right through to 6 months. From 6 months onwards, you will have introduced solids into your baby's diet. Milk continues to play an important role in your baby's diet, and you may not see much reduction in volume until they are well established on solids. Each baby will be unique in when this occurs. In general, milk volumes tend to drop significantly from 9 months. And by 1 year, there is no need to continue to give infant formula. If your older baby or toddler still enjoys a milk feed, you can give them whole cow's milk at this point. So, to recap, babies have an inbuilt appetite mechanism that enables them to stop eating when full, which works best with breastfeeding. For bottle-fed babies, it is important to pay attention to signs from the baby that they are full and to avoid overfeeding. In the first week of life, babies should be fed 8 to 12 times per day, with 10 to 15 meals on day 1, increasing to around 60 meals per feed by day 7. In weeks 2 to 8, babies require 150 ml of milk for every kilo of body weight for every day, with an average of 6 to 8 feeds in 24 hours. From 2 months onwards, babies require a reasonably stable amount of milk until solid foods are introduced. Milk volumes do tend to drop significantly from 9 months, and by a year, there's no need to continue to give infant formula. Whole cow milk can be given to older babies or toddlers who still enjoy a milk feed.